Okay, guys, welcome to EURUSD. I'm going to go over the setups that worked out yesterday, talk about this bull flag that I extended that led to our sell back down to the middle of this consolidation right in between these two major levels I'm looking at, these macro levels. First things first, let's get down to the Sunday open. Let's get right into business here. Um, so we opened on Sunday. I was looking for a dip in recovery of this major zone. As you can see, it's been a place of a lot of action over the past few days. We pushed through it, tagged this macro level exact, came back below, consolidated below before breaking through for a couple levels, sold all the way back down to test the bottom of the this blue area, this macro zone, before going all the way back up, pushing through and reclaiming that. So you can see obviously these levels are pretty precise. We are now looking at open. I was looking for a couple things. I was looking for a reclaim of this level if we didn't sell at all, or I was looking for a dip in recovery of this level. Why a dip in recovery? Well, there's no low to work with. So when you don't have a low to work with, you have to be creative. You want to see price ideally push through the level below and then consolidate below or around it, maybe even above it, before finally pushing off with force and triggering that trade. So that's exactly what we got at the Sunday open here. We sold almost 40 points, so I was definitely looking for a long somewhere in this area ideally. We consolidated below the level for a while, and eventually we triggered here at 6 o'clock, right when the U.S. markets open, with a 14-point candle. So that was my cue to get long, and long I did. And then that took off 15 minutes later for a nice 18-point gain, pushed through up to the next level. I kept my runner. If you didn't get that entry, you could have possibly entered here if you thought that this was a strong level, which we already determined it was. And that worked out as well, and that started pushing us up above and beyond. Now I mentioned that earlier if we didn't get to sell and we stayed up here, I was looking for a reclaim of this level. So that reclaim triggered at 8 p.m. We pushed through with force. You could have gone long there. A little selling. Your stop loss would have been below this, at likely, or even up here if you were a little bit less risk averse, below this level. But that worked out anyways. Then we reclaimed this level. You see, we triggered through, pushed through at 9:15, and then went up a level, and definitely was a good trade. Afterwards, we consolidated sideways until we got a nice pop. The trigger was right here, 11:45, and that would have worked from level to level. Let's say around 368, all the way up to 384. So that's 16 points right there. So a good trade. Then you got a failed breakdown slash a dip in recovery. Failed breakdown at this low. You go long, couple points above 1358, so maybe 1360. That would have worked out from around here all the way up to here, 24 points and more and beyond. Clearly we sold off at the top of this bull flag. That was done earlier for the last video, so that's how things work. Then we consolidated downwards. We could have longed a couple different times. This is a direct back test of the blue level here, the macro level. A failed breakdown of this low right here, and then another failed breakdown right here. I took this failed breakdown as I saw we pushed through, we triggered. I waited a little bit and then we started pushing up here. I decided to go long. I caught some points and my runner got stopped out. This is clearly a big resistance up here. Now you can tell we've tested it a couple times. By the time we get tomorrow morning, that resistance will be here. We might possibly get another test before a hefty sell. That could be a possibility for sure. Then moving forward, we came back down and I took another long. So I could have taken a dip in recovery of this level right here, because clearly when you don't have a low to work with, these are lows that are farther down. I just mentioned, what do? You wait for price to go below and then reclaim it. However, this happened really fast, and I noticed that we had the low from Sunday open, so I was more comfortable going long with that since I missed the better entry down here. So I waited patiently. We did trigger around 9:15, and then 9:30 we pushed through. I went long above the level around 13 to 25 ish. That worked out great, level to level, all the way back, testing the macro level. No levels have been touched since yesterday. Afterwards, which we consolidated sideways and set up a failed breakdown, but that's not something I was taking. I did, however, add a little more position here on the reclaim. We triggered at 2 o'clock, and then we started going back up. I went long around 2:15 after noticing we went back up the level after trapping some people, and that worked out great from 245 up until the high where we touched this micro level, which are for taking profits, and then we've been consolidating again. And let's see if this level can get reclaimed. When I do levels again, I'm looking for 3 setups right away here. A reclaim of this level, maybe a failed breakdown of this low, but honestly, I don't see that, so I would prefer these cluster of low. So again, the first setup I'll be looking for is a reclaim of this zone right here. Second will be a failed breakdown and a tag of this major zone, double setup, and then if not those, I have a failed breakdown of this morning's low, and beyond that, I have a failed breakdown of these low. From my experience, we likely get a failed breakdown of this for lucky, probably not of this. If anything, maybe a failed breakdown of this first before selling down this area. I'm going to set up some levels and get back to you guys ASAP.